Hello everyone, my name is Christopher and today we are going to take a road trip with the Volvo EX30. My first road trip with it, and I have planned a route that is about 600 kilometers. Will be interesting to see consumption, charging and all that. Let's go down to the car. Well, hello there. You happy to see me? Must be that why you have your eyes open. It looks really good from the outside. Really good. So I'm in my garage and we go to car status, trip info, reset this one to 0 so we know how much we had driven. I've also planned a route that is about 600 kilometers, but it doesn't seem to get any charges planned. It just says that you will need to charge. But I think we start driving and just see what happens. Also, I think there is a bit dark for you in here, so let's go outside instead. I have 99% in the battery. It says I had 100. I've charged to 100 today since I'm doing a long journey. And according to the car, I will be going 272 kilometers. We'll see more about that when I go to the motorway and start driving in 110 kilometers an hour. Hopefully you should have the back screen so you can see this screen and also what happens here on the driver display. So I know that that's interesting for some, so you should be able to, hopefully. Okay, so now when we're outside, you should be able to see a bit better, I think. We have my first stop that I planned. We have 2 hours and 59 minutes, 286 kilometers, and we should arrive with 16% in the battery. According to the car, we should be going 272 kilometers and with 99% of the battery, which I've charged to 100 since I'm doing a long journey today. And we'll see if we can go that far. I don't think we will be going that far with this car. I have traveled less with cars with bigger batteries than this, but it is a small car, so the consumption should be low, but based on my previous tests and based on the test I've seen, this is a car with a high consumption, so we'll see more about that. But now we are on the road for the very first time, a long trip with the Volvo EX30 twin motor performance ultra. Yeah, that's correct. And that means that this one has two motors, one in the front, one in the back. Total power of 315 kilowatts. I think it's 428 horsepower. The battery in this car is 69 kilowatt hours with 64 kilowatt hours net capacity. No, Tesla style. There we go. Yeah. Come on. There we go. I hate these steering wheel buttons. They are really bad. The car is brand new, and then it comes with some bugs because no one delivers a finished car today. So my car have issues with internet connection. When I picked it up a couple of days ago, it didn't have internet connection. Then the day after, it had internet connection, super nice, and then it had it for 2 days, something like that. And today it have lost the internet connection again. So to use anything really in this infotainment system, I need to connect my phone and share internet with that over Wi-Fi, so the car thinks it's over Wi-Fi instead of using that modem that is built into the car, because it doesn't work. And my sales rep says just, yeah, sorry, there's not really much I can do about it. Volvo knows about the issue and is working on a solution. I had the same issue with my Volvo EX30, XC40. Sorry, so confusing with the names right now. When I picked it up 2 years ago, also problem with internet access. And from reading that Facebook group we have in Sweden for the Volvo XC40 recharge, there's still issues with that. So Volvo haven't been able to fix that. I really hope they do with this one, because it's super annoying having to do that every time you go into the car. Oh, I think it's time to make a change. Let's see if we can do it with the car. If I just blink, will the car do it for me? This is not the car doing it. It's just... No, it didn't want to do this lane change. That's too bad. Oh well. Regarding the pilot assist in this car, for this type of road, I think it works. Whoa, that guy is using his mobile phone 100%. His driving is super weird, and he was just about to crash, and now he speeds up. I want to speed up to see if he uses his mobile phone. He was. Yeah, pilot assist works pretty good on these kind of roads where it's dry and we have clear lines. Have it active now doesn't really do anything. I have not gotten any warnings about I should keep my hands on the steering wheel. I do, so maybe that's okay. I have no plans in testing that right now in this type of speed. You can also see here on the driver display where it says green. If we want to change our distance to the car in front, we don't have... now I got a warning there. We don't have any buttons on the steering wheel to do that, but to do that we instead would have to go to car settings, and then we go to driving, and then we can here time interval to vehicle ahead. We have short, medium and long, and the thing with this is that Volvo thinks that you should just set one and then you should never care about it because the car will take care of it. And that may be, but we'll see more about that. The traffic isn't very... There's not much traffic right now, so I can't really test that. We'll see more later. Also, I have 22 Celsius degrees here in the car. Just so you know, for some reason the steering wheel heater is on, so let's turn that off because I don't really need it. And this car also have the 19-inch wheels on it. And it's studless tires on right now because it's winter in Sweden. So that's about the info we need, I think. It will be interesting to see the consumption. If we can just take a look right now, the consumption is 28 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers after 15 kilometers of driving. And yeah, it says Motorway, so 110. Will be more interesting by the end to see how it looks. Okay, so I just had to quickly stop and turn off this stupid driver alert thingy. View all, and then we driver alert turn off. Worst I ever used. Well, maybe not, but didn't alert me correctly once. Driving me mad, like popping up every single minute. Look at the road. I am looking at the road. Stop bugging me. Or I'm looking at the screen, or I'm looking at the roundabout, see if it's safe to go. No, look at the road. That needs to be fixed. Can't even be used. The problem is that it's turned on every time you turn on the car. So now I'm down to 50% in the battery, and we can see how far I will actually come and how far we can still go. And I have 126 kilometers left to the charging stop, and I have navigated to a charger that was close by to what I was navigating to beforehand. Basically the same distance, nothing really has changed, just that instead of navigating to the place, I'm navigating directly to the charger in hopes that we might get some preheating in the battery, and also get some nice charging when we will get there. We will get there with 10% according to the car, down from 16 in the beginning. If we take a look at how far we have driven, go to car status. Only there was a better way to do this, like a driver display. We have traveled right now 159 kilometers, almost 160, and we have a consumption of 21.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which I think is pretty good. I've been going like 110 basically all the time. There was some distance in Stockholm which I drove through where you have 80, 90, 100. But most of the time it's been 110. And the weather is quite nice actually. About 5 to 6 degrees plus. This car has also been standing in a garage that was heated. So I think there is like 13 or 15 degrees down there. So we have good conditions in getting long range with this car, and we can clearly see that with this consumption. This is not consumption that is above average or anything. So it's nice that when it's starting to get warm, the car will actually perform as expected. At least that's what I expect. So with that numbers, we should be able to go this last 122 kilometers without any real issues actually. I must say that I'm impressed. I didn't think the car would do that based on my earlier tests and the test I've seen, but plus degrees makes all the difference, I think. When it comes to actually driving and riding the car, I have my issues. About driving the car, it is these buttons again. They work whenever they want, and you can place your thumb on them, and then you get a small notification here that it's been registered. But it's like if you don't, the car barely will not. Most of the time, the car will not react to it. Like I'm pressing multiple times, and it reacts to some of the presses I do. You really have to do it slowly and carefully, and I just wish we could go back to the XC40 steering wheel, or at least the buttons. These are not good. I don't like them at all. But what I don't like even more is the share. And the share itself is fine. It's not padded enough according to me, but it's fine. The problem is the thigh support. I don't know where I should place my legs. I don't know, because if I do it like this, there's nothing holding them up. The share is too short. I really needed that thigh support. So instead I'm just having them placed up here, and then they are, well, up here doing in the way and whatnot. So I will not be able to keep this car for 3 years, since that is this thigh support is a deal breaker for me, and it's sad because I don't really need a bigger car than the EX30, but since no one really makes a premium small electric car, I will need to buy something larger, something that I don't really need, just to get comfortable on longer journeys. And I think that's sad. Volvo could have made a better choice with shares here. And I mean, the listing price of this car is 640,000 kronor in Sweden, and I can put it in euros and dollars as well on the screen, so you can get some how much that is. And for that, I think you should get better seats. There's no way around it. I think you should. I think you should get a driver display as well, but that's fine. That's something I don't really care about that much. It's not a deal breaker for me, especially when driving on roads like this, where you just use your cruise control. It doesn't really matter because you already know what speed you're driving in. If we ignore the shares and talking about comfort otherwise, like sound comfort, I don't hear any form of wind noise, so that's nice, good sign. There are some road noise, of course, when you drive 110 kilometers an hour. Can't get past that, but it's not that much. I'm surprised. The EX30 is a silent car, and I didn't expect that from a cheap car like this. So well done, Volvo, on the sound dampening from the road noise. I also expect that with the 19-inch it helps a lot. Would be interesting to see the 20s. We'll see if maybe the single motor that I will try next week have the 20s or not. Can see if there is a difference in sound. But for here, I'm perfectly happy. And with this good sound system that we have for the Harman Kardon soundbar, I'm well equipped for that. So the biggest problem for me really is that there is no thigh support. That is a real deal breaker for me. I'm driving, when I go to work, I'm driving about 70, 75 kilometers. So times 2 there and back again every day. And then I really want this thigh support. Now I am at 21% and the car has preheating of the battery, but there is no way of telling when it does it, or there's no icon anywhere showing me that the preheating is going on and such. And that would have been nice to see, just so you know that everything is as it should, you have done everything correctly, and you will get a good speed when you come to the charger. Another issue is that now I got to 20% and then the preheating will stop, because it will not run if I'm less than 20%. And I have 22 minutes left. I have 39 kilometers left to the charger without any preheating. So now the preheating should be finished. Sorry, I'm still recovering from a cold, so I had to cough. But now the preheating should be finished, and the temperature in the battery should be good enough for taking 153 kilowatts. But the state of charge is not there, and I still have 38 kilometers left to the charger. Why can't just the preheating go down to at least 10%? 20% is too much, in my opinion. We still can go 59 kilometers according to the car. Half that would be fine. And I mean, if something would happen and we need to save our energy, it's much better to have an option to turn off the preheating instead of the car stopping the preheating for you at 20% already. So Volvo, an icon that shows the preheating is going on, and a button that allows us to both turn on and off the preheating manually. That is what we want. Don't just do it for us. Let us do it for us ourselves. So I still have 4 minutes to go, but we're still on the motorway and I have 9% in the battery, so I want to test something. So if you go to driving here and then we scroll down and turn on performance all-wheel drive and see what happens if I still have all the power. I'm already at 120, but I still don't have anyone behind me, so I can go down a bit. If I go down to 80 and then... Oh, I definitely don't have all the power. Oh my god, it's not even half. Maybe 40%, 30%, 35%, 40%. Yeah, don't have all the power. Then we know that you're limited on power. There's no indication of it though. That's why I was wondering. Let's go back to just normal mode here. Turn off performance mode and wait those couple of last 3 minutes until we reach the charger. And the car thinks we should stay at the charger for 41 minutes to get to our next stop, whatever that is, I don't remember. 41 minutes of charging. That must be quite a bad charging curve, unless it wants me to charge up to like 90-95%. But I mean, 7 to 80 with a 64 kilowatt hour battery shouldn't take 40 plus minutes. Maybe the battery preheating, it didn't go as well as Volvo wanted. Maybe because it dies at 20%, and that was 13% ago. And here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the Ionity chargers are busy, but no matter, we take one of the other ones from Circle K, and there's a secret car here. I wonder what that could be. Seriously, I wonder what that could be. I don't know if you see on the screen, but it's completely covered. And oh, I have the charger on my side, yeah. That's a hard thing when you drive different cars all the time. But I should know, because this one is mine, so let's pop it here, and people are watching me. Maybe because it's so bright and yellow. Finally here, and if we go to car status and trip info, we can see that I've traveled 284.6 kilometers and have a consumption of 21.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which I think is pretty good actually. I have an average speed of 96 kilometers an hour. So with that in mind, I have 7% in the battery as well, and I can go 19 kilometers left. Let's plug in the charger and let's see how fast we can go. Okay, so there we go. I have charged. Started out at like 40 kilowatts and was like, what is going on? Then it went to 60 and then it stayed there. And then finally the battery was optimal heating and we went to 157 kilowatts, 158 maybe. Just shows that the preheating was not good enough and maybe it was shut down too early. Anyway, went on to be continuous 157, 158 until like 32%, then it went to 143 kilowatts. Then at 40% it went to 129, at 44% it went to 115, and at 49% it went down to 100. That was after 13 minutes that we started out at 7%. At 53% it went down to 87 kilowatts, and that was after 15 minutes. And at that point I needed to pee so badly, so I couldn't stay there any longer and I had to go. And when I came out, Mercedes had taken out what they had under the cover, which I'm not sure if that was the new CLA or an updated version of the EQE version, but I think it was the CLA. We'll see when that launches, but 7 to 80% took 31 minutes. It's not that 26.5 minutes that Volvo says, I think, but preheating could have been better. But the car thinks wants me to charge to 93% because I think that's enough for me to go to Örebro, which we're going next, and then home. But since there's some traffic here, and yes, you can see charges here, but out of these 5, there are only 2 working, so that ID4 will have to change place because that charger is not working. So I moved when I had 81%, and the car is flipping out. If you see, next stop Örebro, and then continue, retry. If I press continue, oh yeah, okay, I'm offline, sorry, forgot about that. Why would you have a car that have internet connection? Really? Internet sharing. Then we go to settings and we go to connectivity, Wi-Fi, and now it will search for Wi-Fi. Can it find my Wi-Fi then on my phone? There we go, connected. Now we have internet connection again. Fantastic. And we can do continue. Still an offline map here. Oh well, I'm sure it will be fine. We are ready to go. Finally. That took some time. Both my fault and Mercedes' fault. 31 of those minutes where we stayed here, it was because of the car. Bit slow charging, I think, but I'm happy with the range, so that's at least something. So time for a status update. Since charging I have been going about 80 to 100 kilometers, and we can see that if we go, God, I wish there was an easy way to do this. We can see it here in the consumption where it's 21 kilowatt hours exactly per 100 kilometers, and yeah, exactly, not per hour, sorry. And we have been going 387.9 kilometers, so about 388 now. There we go. And we have an average speed of 92.1 kilometers an hour. But now we are on the motorway again, and we are driving 110, and we will mostly do that until we come home. We have 18 minutes left to the city where that I entered in the navigation, just so the route would be as I wanted. But I thought we would take off that now and instead just navigate directly home and see if we can come that far, or if it plans any charging stop for us. Remove stop. Rerouting. So now it says that I will come home in 2 hours and 16 minutes with -3% in the battery. Would be lovely to have some form of charging stop, but doesn't seem to do that, which is very weird because the XC40 does that. I thought this was just... Why it's not... Oh. That's actually really confusing. It says that I should... That car has FCK. If you think the same as I do, that was funny. We need to talk about this notification that's happening when you need to hold the steering wheel. Like, when I have my pilot assist here active and I'm driving like this and on a motorway and I'm just holding the steering wheel, there's nothing much going on. And the car doesn't know that I am holding the steering wheel. There will be a pop-up over here. The problem is that I'm not looking over here. I'm looking at the road because I'm a driver. I drive a car. And that means the car needs to find another way for me to get my attention, which it will do with a bing and ding. It will ding, 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 and then I will look here and I can see that, oh yeah, I need to hold the steering wheel, and it's just not holding the steering wheel. I need to give some force to the steering wheel, and that is a problem, because when that dinging pops up, it will lower the media that I am currently having, music, audiobook, podcast, whatever, instead of pausing it, which means that that like to listen to podcasts and audiobooks will need to go back and then to hear what I missed. Sometimes it can be, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes it does, because of that dinging thingy. So since we can't have anything in front of us anymore because Volvo removed that, it instead uses sound and it doesn't pause my media. Please, Volvo, at least pause my media if you're gonna ruin my podcast with your thingy. Or, even better, use this huge screen thingy that is not a screen to look at my eyes and see where I'm driving. It's a technology that Ford is using, I know that, and more companies are also using that. Volvo should as well, instead of having to use this force to on a straight road. It doesn't make sense. The system needs to work better than that. So I'm currently on my way to a Tesla Supercharger version 3, which means that it can do 250 kilowatts, but since this car can only max out at 158 from what I've seen, we should be good anyway. And Volvo also have the charging port on the correct side for Tesla Superchargers, so there's no blocking or anything. We should just be able to fit right in. Well, except that our car is yellow and much nicer looking than any other Tesla. And that is something I truly believe, that the EX30 is a good looking car, much better looking than any other Tesla. You can quote me on that. I have 9% in the battery, and there should be somewhere here a Tesla Supercharger. Is this really the spot? Feels super weird. Okay, here we go. Now I can see them. I was at the wrong parking lot. These new Tesla Superchargers are actually brand new. I think this station opened like 2-3 days ago. So this is perfect. So let's jump in here and just take one spot. Let's take this one. That will be good enough. But then I'm stupid because I have the charging port on my driving side. So I can't do that. Need to park on this side. Again, it's hard when you drive different cars at night every day. There we go. So we have 8% left in the battery, and we can go 29. Again, sorry, I have the cold that I'm currently recovering from. We can go 29 kilometers left with the 8%. And if you go to car status and trip info, we have today driven 511 kilometers, 0.5 kilometers if we're going to be exact. Still exactly 21.0 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers with an average speed of 91.4 kilometers an hour. So now let's charge. According to the car, we should charge to at least 31% to continue our trip home. And yeah, that's perfect for me. So let's do that. Okay, same thing happens as last time. Let's just continue this. Charge to 37%. Same thing happened as last time. We got a burst up to 60 kilowatts, and from there we waited a couple of minutes, like 2-3 minutes maybe, and then we went to 150 plus. So it seems to be like this with the charging curve right now, that it starts out at 40 to 60 kilowatts and then it moves up to the maximum when the heating is completed. I guess it has to be about heating. I've tried to connect the car scan. Now my map disappeared. That is a problem if you're gonna navigate. I mean, from here I know how to navigate home without the map, but I don't have any map anymore. That could have been a problem if you were somewhere else. Could I get my map back, please? There are some bugs in this system. Ah, there it goes. Here we are. And now the navigation is back as well. Fantastic. Suddenly, it realizes that, oh, you will arrive with just 10%. Do you want to add a charging stop? But when I wanted to go, whatever I wanted to go, I don't remember, with minus 4%, it didn't say anything about adding charging stop. But now when I'm with 10%, I need a charging stop. I don't need a charging stop now because that will be my final destination. Now I'm finally back in Uppsala here and just have a couple of minutes left home. We have 11% left in the battery, which means that everyone is going the other way. Good. Which means that we should be fine. According to the car, we can go 37 kilometers more with this 11%. So that's also fine. And the clock is just 15:56. Perfect. It's so annoying that so much of the data is on the side. Oh, it's Sunday. Should be calm in the city, but it wasn't. I really miss a driver display or a head-up display. I really miss that. I think this panel is too small for what it does. It should be bigger, and of course, the internet connection should work. But that's something I guess most people don't have to bother with. Okay, so I'm back in my garage now. So have a look at this screen here. We have 11% left in the battery. We can go 37 kilometers. And if we go to the menu and car status, we go to trip info, we can see that we have driven 586.3 kilometers in total with an average consumption of 20.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And our average speed was 88.9 kilometers. This current trip is from when I started, so it should be about the same, yeah. Very much the same, 6 hours and 35 minutes. That's how many hours we have been gone. I think well, I think that's how many hours we have been driving, not been gone, not included charging stop then. So there we have it, a full trip of almost 600 kilometers with the new Volvo EX30. I will do more trips and such later, but this was a first one just to get to know the car, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Also see some charging and whatnot, seeing that about 30 to 31 minutes to charge the car from about 10 to 80%. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, make sure to subscribe to see more of the EX30 and other electric cars. It's coming as well. Otherwise, well, have a nice day, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye.